For more on the TikTok fallout and the state of U.S. China relations, let's bring in CNBC contributor Dewardric McNeal. He's Longview Global's managing director, senior policy analyst. Dewardric, great to have you with us. It sounds like you're not as worried as maybe some here on the desk are about what is going on with TikTok.
I'm certainly worried about the security concerns. I understand those. But, you know, when I heard the announcement this morning by former Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin, my thought was pump our brakes because there's a lot left to go here before we get to divestiture. This thing has landed in the Senate. If it goes into committee, it is likely going to stall. If it goes to the Senate Intelligence Committee, that's Warner and Rubio, maybe it'll move faster. But if it goes through the Committee for Commerce, Science, and Technology, Ted Cruz, who's a ranking member there, has already said that he wants full amendments on this thing. So we're a long ways away from divestiture. So I am concerned about TikTok, but I'm not at the point yet where I think we're at divestiture.
There's also, as I understand it, China has to approve this deal. I mean, the algorithm, which is the secret sauce for TikTok, that's a key technology. And so China would have to agree to have an export license for this technology in order for this deal to go through. I would think otherwise you're buying a shell of a company.
That's the real question. Look, I think that the Chinese government has been very clear. They have no interest in having this algorithm owned by anyone in the U.S. And if you listen to the announcement on our air this morning, Secretary Mnuchin kind of threw a crumb out by saying, if this were to happen, we would use U.S. technology to do this, meaning not the algorithm. But then the question is, what do you have? Do you have TikTok that's so popular with creators and with teens? It's hard to say.
Dewardric, it feels like some of the rhetoric around investing or trading in China was at its worst in January when everything bottomed out. And I think Tim agrees. I feel the same way, that I think there's a trade there on the long side. I'm not suggesting long-term investment. What are your thoughts on a short-term trade in FXI or some of the individual names?
Yeah, as you well know, I'm going to be hesitant to get into trading advice. Let me just say that I don't believe, speaking at a macro level about the Chinese economy, that we're anywhere near being out of the water. None of the major problems have been solved. You have this new statement about new productive forces, EV, advanced manufacturing, those sectors. But those are the very sectors that you will find the U.S. is in direct competition with China on. So it's fuzzy to me in terms of what is available for long-term investing in China. But I can say, coming off the back of the National People's Congress, I'm not convinced that there's been any solvency in the short term or the long term for what's next in China to drive growth.
Does what's going on with TikTok change your view of the state of U.S.-China relations? And how do you see the trajectory of those relations as we progress in the year, particularly as we approach the election? And if Donald Trump is reelected president, that would really, I mean, he's already talked about a 60% plus tariff on Chinese goods.
Yeah, that's a good question, Melissa. Let's park Trump as president for now and just look at these next 235 days or so before the election. Look, I don't think the TikTok announcement has done anything to really upset the San Francisco agreement to maintain high-level dialogue between the U.S. and China. I think what you have here is what we should always expect. This is not going to be a relationship that's without competition. It's not going to be a relationship without friction. But I don't see the TikTok divestiture bill as one that either side is prepared to blow up the bilateral relationship over. So I think we're holding serve from where we were after the APEC meeting between Biden and Xi in San Francisco.
And then with a Trump presidency, what happens, do you think?
Who knows? I can tell you right now it's going to be a lot of chaos for sure. I think trade is certainly going to be back on the table. The 60% tariff issues. People think that that's fantasy, but look, I have to take the former president at his word. He has been prepared to go farther than anyone else I've seen at total disruption. And so we should prepare ourselves for that again.